it's easier and easier, and it just starts to run away.
Yeah.
Like,
right. So, right, Jen. And you're right, Jen. So that's a part of me that feels like, all right, I've been kind of neglecting the story all week, because I know it's going to aggravate me, whatever. But some people at work today were like, well, honestly, like, what could we do? You know? And they were like, do you really think Trump will get reelected? Like, they were like, they always come to me because they know, like, I watch the news, I follow this. And I'm like, yes, I think Trump could get reelected. Absolutely, I think he could. And they're like, there's no way. I go, I'm feeling like there's no way he can be beat right now. And none of them vote.
I actually agree with that.
I feel, and none of them vote.
And that was the other thing I was about to say is
I
do see that a lot on Facebook. People always groups like, what can we do? What can we do?
Right.
Literally, the only thing you can do is vote. That's really what it boils down to. That's all that matters at the end of the day. You can march around with your signs and donate money to this and that organization, but at the end of the day, all that matters is that you vote.
And that you get people to vote. On top of it,
you vote
I think,
and help. If you're gonna aside from voting, encouraging other people to vote.
Right.
But voting's the bottom line.
Exactly.
That's what we need to
do. And this is coming from a bunch of people that I work with, Margaret, that nobody votes but me there.
Yeah, that's a problem.
And think about even like your friends' situation. You know, you guys are so much younger than me. Most of the people my age do vote. But then again, people I work with that are my age, some of them don't. So I shouldn't even say that. It's hard, you know, it's hard to decide, like, do you think the millennials are voting, Margaret?
You know, I don't. That's a tough question.
Didn't they break records during Obama? Like, that was the highest voting group, was millennials?
It's very possible. I just honestly don't recall.
Right, okay.
I think, again, I have no hard numbers to base this on, just because I haven't done the research recently.
Right.
But anecdotally, and based on what in my view, how millennials and just young people in general is they get like energized right out of the gate when something happens, you know, and they're like, you know, having all their protests and got all this energy and doing this. But then 6 months, a year, 2 years later, when it comes time to actually vote, suddenly they're too busy with their Snapchat and their Tinder. You know what I mean? It's like there's not a lot of... It's short attention span, kind of. Like, okay, we've moved on. Like, the Florida election, I feel like maybe was a good idea. What was that, last year? We had our gubernatorial election, and the Republican won. And remember, again, I think was it last year or the year before, but we had the Parkland shooting here with that David Hogg kid who, like, got really famous from that high school and everything. And he was marching on Washington, and, like, all those kids were like, we're going to vote and do all this stuff. And maybe they did. I honestly don't know, but I'm just saying there was all this. Florida was a big hot button issue there with the shooting and everything and young people. And the Republicans still won. So again, maybe they did all vote and he still won. Despite that, I don't know. I just, from observing millennial behavior, that's the impression that I get, is that if it doesn't all happen immediately, you know, if the event that triggers them to be energized doesn't happen immediately before an election, I feel like they lose interest and move on.
Yes, that makes complete sense. That does make complete sense. And, you know, that is your age group, even though you're much more mature. But...
yes, I do not identify as a millennial.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody should, on their own, identify as a millennial.
Well, really, Jen? Is that what you think? Yeah, just don't...
You just don't want to put yourself in that little category.
Yeah. So, Jen, what's the thoughts on that up in Canada right now? Are people discussing it, or they're, you know...
I think people are just shocked. Like,
yeah,
like that is
so
actually
crazy.
Happening. Like, that would just never happen here.
That's why in The Handmaids we all got to run there, Margaret.
Right? Everybody here.
We got to run to Canada.
But the reality is, it wouldn't happen most places here either. The Deep South is, for the most part, the only place you'd see something like that happen.
Yeah.
But the difference, because you guys are state by state, you make laws, right? We're countrywide for stuff like that. So, like, if Ontario decides to do it, the whole country does it. Like, it's not, every province has different ones. There's stuff like drinking age and that is province specific, but something like this would be countrywide. So not like just Quebec. Could be like, okay, well, we're going to do this.
Mm-hmm. Right. And in fact, to be honest, I'd go so far as to say I'm not shocked that Alabama did this, and anyone who does needs to maybe travel the United States a little more.
Yeah, really? You need to. Honestly, though, I mean, come on, it's crazy.
And actually, to that point, that goes back to so many people being just shocked that Trump won. Those are the same people who are shocked right now. They don't get out of their little bubbles in LA and New York and wherever else. And it's like, yes, those are densely populated areas with a lot of people in them, but there's a lot of country out there.
Yep.
And the people might be more spread out, but there's a lot of people out there. And I think a lot of people don't get out of their little corner and see what the rest of the country is like. And the cultures are very different.
Yeah.
I mean, I've commented in the past, just when we're vacationing and stuff, that it almost feels to an extent like you're in a different country between the food and the accents and how just the culture, how different things are. You know, think about the West Coast, like Seattle and LA and their culture and everything, and then the accents and the food in the Northeast and the South, you know, and the Midwest. Like, it's really different.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, I kind of have a mix where I am, because I'm upstate, so I have a lot of rednecky type people, I have to say. I mean, I hate to say it, but we do, you know? A lot of, you know, pickup truck driving people with the Confederate flag hanging off the back, the whole thing up here. You know, it is a mix. But you're right.
And actually, Jacksonville's like that, too, because Jacksonville, we're like right on the Georgia line, so it's a lot more southern than the rest of Florida. Mm-hmm. But it's still, like, every election, like Duval County is pretty purple where I live. It's always a nail biter which way it's going to go every election.
Oh.
We've got a lot of the trucks with the Confederate flags, but I also saw just as many Hillary, you know, stickers around the election. Right. It really is a big mix here, and we've got a lot of, you know, lower income people. We've got a lot of very wealthy people here. It is a big jumble too. I think it's a lot, probably like your demographic up there.
Yeah, right. So it is different, but I totally could see, like you say, someone who's living in LA and it's so liberal and it's, you know what I mean? And
right.
Yeah, I guess it would be more shocking. But I have to say, honestly, I didn't see this coming. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I just was like, all of a sudden, I was like, did that really just happen? Like, what is going on? You know? Because it just...
I'll be interested to see if it gets overturned, though.
Yeah, has to. I don't know.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
Yeah, it's crazy.
To be continued, I guess.
Yeah, to be continued. But yeah, so I went a little bit political on you guys, but you know, you never know what's going to happen here. So, so listen, you guys want to take a quick break and then we'll come back and then we will not be political.
Sounds good.
All right, we'll be right back. Hello and welcome back to Couple of Instigators. Really quick, let me just say, if anybody's interested in following us on Facebook, it's Couple of Instigators. Like us, and you'll see when the episodes come out. We are also on Apple iTunes, Android, SoundCloud, and iHeartRadio. Couple of Instigators. Thank you very much. I should just do a recording of that, so I can just play it in between you guys. So, yeah. Yeah. So, who's got the first story?
So I've got a story about it's raining dogs.
Raining dogs.
So this is actually an old story from 2015, but it was just recently brought to my attention, and I was both fascinated and horrified, and thought people should know. So anyway, it's a story, and I'll post the link to our Facebook group after the episode airs, because I'm not gonna read the whole thing because it's long, but it's really fascinating, and I would encourage you to read through it.
Okay.
But basically, it's a whole story about what really is going on when you, I don't know what you call it, check your pets on an airplane to fly somewhere, right?
Oh.
So you're not carrying them in the cabin with you, the ones that have to go in the cargo because they're too heavy. So we actually had to do, I've done this once in my life. My family moved to Taiwan when I was 13 years old, and we had 2 cats, and we were not going to leave them behind. So we took them with us. It was a whole ordeal. And as the story states, your pet has to be 15 pounds or less to fly in the cabin with you. If it's heavier than 15 pounds, it has to go in the cargo hold. And my mom didn't want our cats to go in the cargo hold for apparently good reason, as you'll see after I talk about this article. One of our cats was too fat, so she put him on a diet, and he actually gained weight because he was catching so many animals outside. So that was a bit of a struggle. And then this poor cat, since Taiwan's an island, we had to put them in quarantine for, I think it was 6 weeks before we could bring them home.
Oh my God!
And then this poor cat, he was one of those very nervous cats. You know, our other cat she was a stray when we got her. She would beat anybody up. Like, she's done time in prison before. She could handle it. But she came from the pound, but our other cat hadn't. He was soft. He got pink eye from Russian circus cats that were in kennels next to him. So this poor cat has to go on like a 12-hour flight from LA to Taiwan. Then he gets to Taiwan. He has to go into quarantine next to these crazy circus cats. You know, they're probably like drinking and swearing next to him. And he's like, oh my God. You know, and then like for 2 weeks after we finally get him home in this strange country, we had to put eye drops in him, and it was just the poor thing. So anyway, but we were lucky that we were able to carry them on board with us. But so this article talks about some not so lucky pets.
Oh, Can I just interrupt you for a second?
Yes.
What did he do with them on the plane? Like in the cabin? Like
that was
a little litter box in the carrier or something? Like